When the original Nintendo Switch launched back in 2017, it did more than just succeed. It revived the company's standing in the gaming world. The Wii U had been a rare misstep, but the hybrid appeal of the Switch sparked something powerful in gamers globally. Now, after years of rumors and speculation, the Nintendo Switch 2 is not only confirmed but set to hit store shelves this June. And even though it carries forward much of what made the original unique, its internals have received a serious overhaul. In this full breakdown, we at Technology Review are putting the two systems head-to-head to see just how far Nintendo has come. The brain behind the console, CPU breakdown. The first-generation Switch operated on a custom-built NVIDIA chip, a setup that included 4 ARM Cortex, A57 cores, with an additional 4 Cortex, A53S present but disabled. The clock speeds fluctuated between docked and handheld modes, something developers had to work around. Despite this, its multi-threaded architecture gave the system enough flexibility to handle ports of demanding games like The Witcher 3 and Doom. Graphics, a monumental leap forward. Graphical performance was arguably the most criticized aspect of the original Switch. It packed only 256 CUDA cores running between 300 to 700 MHz, depending on whether you were docked or not. It was a compromise designed to maintain battery life in a portable format. The trade-off worked, but it showed its age quickly once the PS5 and Xbox Series X dropped. The Switch 2 marks a substantial shift, not just in power but in modern graphical techniques. It's now running on an Ampere-based GPU, the same architecture behind NVIDIA's RTX 3000 series. While the T239 chip in theory can hold up to 2048 CUDA cores, it appears Nintendo has opted for a more battery-friendly 1500, which still triples what the original offered. DLSS, on the other hand, is game-changing for handheld consoles. It uses AI to upscale lower-resolution images to look nearly native 4K, preserving performance while improving visual quality. This is an enormous leap for Nintendo's hardware and opens the door to much higher fidelity titles than ever before. It's finally realistic to imagine next-gen ports running on a Nintendo handheld without looking completely compromised. Memory upgrades. Finally, some breathing room. Memory limitations often held the Switch back, particularly with more demanding third-party titles. The original device featured just 4 GB of LPDDR4 RAM, shared between CPU and GPU, a modest figure by even 2017 standards. Games like Tears of the Kingdom pushed this to its limits, cleverly optimizing memory use to deliver expansive experiences. That's changing now. The Switch 2 will come with 12 GB of LPDDR5 memory, 3 times the original capacity. The newer memory standard also means significantly faster bandwidth, which results in smoother gameplay and faster asset loading. In short, this is no small tweak. It's a core improvement that lets developers dream bigger. Storage takes a giant leap. Another long-standing complaint with the Switch was its limited 32 GB internal storage, with modern games often taking up 40 to 100 GB. This constraint made microSD cards practically mandatory. Nintendo has heard the feedback. The Switch 2 will ship with 256 GB of UFS 3.1 internal storage, offering dramatically better read and write speeds. While it doesn't match PCIe 4.0 SSDs found in other consoles, it's more than enough for a handheld and represents an 8x jump in capacity. Faster loading, quicker installs, and more space for downloads make this a major quality-of-life upgrade. Battery life and charging. Some gains, some misses. Portability is the Switch's hallmark, and battery performance is central to that promise. The original Switch came with a 4,310 mAh battery that could give you anywhere from 2 to 6 hours, depending on game intensity. Charging time was around 3 hours in sleep mode, and there was no support for fast charging. With the Switch 2, Nintendo has boosted battery capacity to 5,220 mAh. It's a bump, but not a massive one. Reports suggest the expected battery life remains similar, somewhere between 2 to 6 hours, depending on game complexity and screen brightness. Charging time? Still capped at roughly 3 hours, and there's no indication of fast charging tech being introduced this time around. This might be one of the few areas where the Switch 2 didn't make a major leap forward. Visuals matter, display and output. The first-gen Switch featured a 6.2-inch LCD panel running at 720p and 60 Hz. It was functional but unremarkable. Later, the Switch OLED gave us a 7-inch OLED upgrade, which was visually superior but maintained the same resolution and refresh rate. The Switch 2 introduces a new 7.9-inch LCD panel that finally breaks the 720p limit. It's now 1080p at 120 Hz, offering a much sharper and more fluid gaming experience. For docked play, the output now supports 4K at 60 Hz, which is a massive step forward. While it may be disappointing that Nintendo didn't carry over the OLED tech from the premium model, the resolution and refresh rate upgrades more than compensate. Combined with DLSS, players will see cleaner, more responsive visuals than anything the original Switch could deliver. What this means for games? Power is nothing without software. So what will these specs actually mean for the games? With a more capable CPU, open-world games can feature richer environments and smarter AI. The GPU makes ray tracing and advanced lighting a reality, giving titles a next-gen feel. And with DLSS in the mix, developers no longer have to sacrifice resolution for frame rate, meaning a lot more high-end titles can be ported to the Switch 2. We're already hearing rumblings of Cyberpunk 2077 and Hogwarts Legacy being prepared for release, which would have been unthinkable for the original hardware. Nintendo's own projects, like the rumored Mario Kart World or Donkey Kong Bonanza, will no doubt take full advantage of the improved internals. The price of progress. The original Switch launched at $300, which felt like a sweet spot for what it offered. The Switch 2 is stepping into more premium territory with a $450 price tag. Given the upgraded specs, expanded storage, and display improvements, this increase isn't exactly surprising. It's in line with modern console pricing and still cheaper than PS5 or Xbox Series X. However, it does create higher expectations, especially with games now moving to the $70 mark. Whether this price is justified will ultimately depend on game support and how well third-party developers embrace the new platform. Final verdict, a major leap for Nintendo's hybrid vision. The Nintendo Switch may second not rival the PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X in raw power, but that was never its goal. What Nintendo has delivered is a portable console that finally feels current. With modern features like DLSS, ray tracing, and a sharper, high refresh rate display, this is a machine ready to handle the gaming demands of 2025 and beyond. At Technology Review, we see this as a smart evolution, building on everything that made the Switch great, but correcting the technical compromises of the past. The Switch 2 won't just be another successful Nintendo console. It could redefine portable gaming once again. Let us know what you think of the new Switch 2 in the comments. Are you planning to upgrade? Or does the price make you hesitate? Don't forget to subscribe to Technology Review and hit the bell icon for more deep dives like this one.